Hello, we are live for the first time in 2017. Hello and welcome to another stream. This is your host, Alan the Mokanaman. And I did drop the ball a bit, but being holidays, taking a break, taking it easy and whatnot, I thought I should get back in the swing of it and probably work on some projects. So first, I need to check that we're fine. We've got no technical difficulties. This should only take me a few minutes. And soon as so I've got my tablet. Bear with me. As soon as I can see that the audio is fine, the visuals are fine, I'm going to show some of the stuff that I'm working on currently. I've bought and painting the Femina bust. I'm not quite used to streaming. I haven't done it for a while. So I'm painting her. She's out of the box. She's built. She's got a primer coat. And I don't know what the hell's going on. Twitch app. What Twitch? We don't want weather. I've got the Frame Arms Girl Gorai. I've got the Bulks Girls and Panzer figure on the go. I've got a Toddy Eye Hungarian light tank from World War II. I've gone back to Super Femina, and I'm starting a Gundam kit today for the Gunpla Builders Australia Weathering group build. Now, we're in Twitch. We'll go to Mokanaman. Be the first viewer ourselves. Loading. All that shit. Thinks I've already got 3 viewers. Now, we're in Twitch. Okay. Alright, we're absolutely good. It's all fine. Very sorry for that issue. I might do a bit of work on this. This is a resin kit. It's got some putty that needs to be sanded, but I could see some of it might have sunk a bit, so I might need a little more. Yeah, it's sunk like shitloads. This is going to need more putty work, and I've missed the putty work there, so we'll be applying more putty on this, not sanding it. I've obviously done a very poor job. That's not a big issue. Got the Hungarian toddy. I might not touch this today, but we can have a quick look at it. All I've done is the track works, and we're going to glue all of these tank tracks on before it goes any further. But it is pretty much half done. For Mina, I've started it not long ago, or restarted it. So we've got a little putty on the midriff. I've done a little work on the torso, if I can find it. There we go. So it's going to need a little putty work on it. So I can do that and the resin kit at the same time. These two will be the first things I will work on today. So we'll smash those over. And I've got the Frame Arm Girl, Gorai. She is on skewers. I'm painting the last of the bits. All I have to do is top coat, a sludge wash, and assemble. And she's absolutely done. That came together beautifully, but it was a very, very long time coming. Bless me. Darkness D42 is auto-hosting me. Thank you very much. Excuse me. And we're also starting on this. I don't remember what it's called. The Haya Kiru for Scott Taylor's Ghost of Xeon's little competition. And I suppose we'll unbox it. Why the fuck not? I bought this a while ago. It's very interesting. It's almost got a Raiden look from the old anime. Oh, it's coming to me. It's coming to me. Gasaraki. So I really liked that look, and I want to really play heavily on texturing, weathering. Okay, that came out like shit. There we go. We put this lotion on the skin. Oh, fuck, that doesn't work. Taking photos and whatnot. Sort of almost like a bit of an unboxing. Also got revolting hay fever. It sucks balls. My apologies. That was not called for, but I'm not really sorry. So that's working out. No, the challenge is add a box. No kit bashing. Didn't say anything about modification. No heavy battle damage. Light wear and tear, I assume, is good. I don't think they said anything about little mods, little scratch building. We'll do all that. Sexy. So we got everything in little baggies. This is how I start off every single build. Fuck it. Bullshit. Yeah, that'll do. No, this isn't a very hard kit. It's got like 1, 2, 3 substantial runners, 2 tiny runners, and polycap stickers, all that crap. A lot of the pieces are quite massive. It's going to be a very, very quick build. Cut out the pieces. Lay out the runners to take a pick. Then we put her aside. So I need to do a bit of putty work. Thought I'd actually be doing some sanding, but I was wrong. These scissors suck. I'm cutting plastic. Fuck it. Something's fucking with my toes too. Stepped in a tiny bit of wire. Here we go. Oh, this is an easier. 2 different sets of plastic for different cases of runners. Glorious instructions. So we got this young lady with big tits. It's quite nice. Instructions are all coloured and stuff. do the runners of 2 photos. It'll just be easier that way. Ah, fuck. Go backwards, delete some fucking photos. Oh, that's garbage. That's good besides the lapel. But fuck it, the lapel could stay there. That could go. Beautiful. So there's not much to say. I've seen people snap it together. It looks like a great kit. I don't like the big backpacky thingy. I'm gonna fuck it up. Probably have it heavily weathered and wearing out. Did say no gorging out of major plastic or parts or anything like that, but might have to break a bit of the rules. Rules are there to be broken. But it's going to heavily rely on texturing. And with a rough surface, you've got a lot to play with in paint and pigments and weathering and washes and inks and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to be relying on a couple of techniques. So that's all good and done and fine and finished and voila. Put her aside for a short period of time. We're going to our resin figure. Now I've got some automotive putty in this little Tamiya jar. Blade putty, also known as bog putty. It's a single part polyester resin base. Can be quite nasty fume-wise. Such a small container, it's not as harmful. Pardon me. Hay fever is so freaking bad. So in these little jars, it's not too bad to use indoors and whatnot. Just filling up the jars is a pain. When they dry out a bit, you just use a little lacquer thinner to wetten it a bit. I think it's dried out a bit, but that's not a problem. It's nice and thick. It's easy to apply. And I'm just putting a second coat on these bumpy edged areas where there was a hole to make sure when I sand it, it's nice and smooth and beautiful. And then we'll sand it with our range of sandpapers we got put aside here, which everything is wet sanded as appropriate. So that's fine. This is not fine. There's a hole there that I completely neglected. Just ram it in there nice and hard. Clean it up a bit. Find out where its origin is. Then we put a little more putty on top. And the smell's not that overbearing when I've only got a tiny amount. That Q-tip's fucked. Put it somewhere where it's not going to stain my bench. That looks fine, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit more just in case. It's going to be hit with a high grit sandpaper anyway. Down, boy, down. That hole is visible as fuck. That needs to go. And she's nicely covered. The head is visible as fuck. It's like bumpy shit everywhere, but it doesn't fill the actual hole itself. Well, the hole's filled. It's a deep hole, but this putty shrunk a bit, so it just needs a bit more. Like any putty, it shrinks. That's just the way of life. It depends on how much you play around with it and thin it and whatnot. The foot has a hole still. We've got another hole here that I missed as well. Did very, very poorly. That's okay. Once this is all sanded for the last time, we could start priming and painting. So that means quite early this year we could have a done garage kit. I'd like to get 3 resin anime figures done this year. Did 2 last year. They did very well. 1 the year before. But one of the ones I did last year was a very, very long project, very hard project. Though it just came out really well. I was really, really happy with the results. It was one of my prize kits. Yeah, that's still quite visible. Ram it in there nice and good. Man, I'm so sorry about this bloody hay fever. It's clearing up though, so it should be fine. Quick check. Too easy. A little more. That hole is just, wow, it's deep. It's shrunk tons. Maybe I should have put some epoxy putty in there, some milliput, and then finish with some of this on top, or super glue with baking soda and then some of this. I'm still learning. I'm not the biggest expert on models. I'm making mistakes. I try new things, look at it and go, oh, that didn't work out, but a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then you just get a bit faster and a bit faster every single time. You can't really rely on the one product or the one method. Though still, it's done the trick, even though it's taken 2 goes. Maybe tomorrow, maybe another day, I could sand it. And once my painting schedule is a little more freer after the Frame Arm Girls is done, the Femina is going to be a very quickie. It's a very simple, easy kit. I'm going to do some painting on that tonight. It'll work out. There we go, back to the next cupboard. So I've been doing a lot of airbrushing of late. I'm running a bit dangerously low on thinner. I'm going to go buy a big container tomorrow. And I can keep going. One of my airbrushes is out of commission. Throw these out, close this container, and we're winning. Won't close that yet. Probably just add a bit more putty onto ammo crate. It's great that the smell's not as overbearing because it's just such a tiny amount. And don't have the container too close to where you're breathing as well, and that just sort of just helps it. As well as the work. Don't have the work too close to you. Should be wearing a mask, but it is what it is. Beautiful. Okay, so that's nicely covered. Dries, it won't be a problem. Just put a lid on it so it doesn't evaporate. It does dry out via evaporation and chemical hardening, not so much by just a chemical set like epoxy. Alright, get put aside. Oh, bit of blue tack. Firmina. And this is sometimes how my modelling sessions go. I pick up something, tiny job, pick up something, tiny job, and then I go really hard and long on one particular project. So that needs a bit of putty work. Not too bad. I think I need to, with the head, put a little primer on it, see where the faults are, and clean up a bit. Might use a toothpick. I'm also on the verge of starting to film a styrene or pla plate tutorial. I really want to do that. I don't know if I'll have time to do it tonight. Might do it tomorrow, or I might do it next week. But I think that would come out really, really nicely. And the toothpick is giving me the control I need. It's going to shrink and it's going to leave another line. This line is pretty nasty. But if it takes 2-3 attempts, that's okay with this because it is what it is. It's something I don't want to drown. Okay, that worked well. I want to smoothen out the forearms as they're going to be sort of flesh. That's going to need the help of the Dremel. I'll do that off camera. Probably tonight. Then ram some putty in it. Then it'll be all flesh coloured. That'll be very cool. The legs. The backside needs putty work. I'm starting to consider giving up on not putting up the panel lines because it's just so hard to deal with it. I think I'll just scribe them once primer is on it. But I've tried. So we've done some sculpting a little while ago with Milliput. Or I might not even have to scribe it. I could just paint the detail with masking. Again, we'll play it all by ear. So this is the upper thigh going to the backside. I beefed it up a bit to close the gap in around the hips and the crutch area. So it wouldn't have large articulation holes. As long as the legs can go up and down, doesn't need to have too much articulation. A bit of meat or a bit of back is probably more enjoyable, if I could definitely say that. Just putty and putty and putty and just keep using putty. Cover all those bumpy bits, fuse it all together, and it's nice and soft enough when I sand it. It all goes down to a smooth surface. This putty is just really great for both scratch building and seam line filling. I've been really enjoying it of late. And yeah, tomorrow we'll do some sanding on her. Goes from plastic to putty. When it's all painted, no one will know where it starts and where it finishes with the modifications. Especially since we're showing detail that is hidden under a dress. So she's just going to be wearing like bike shorts type thing. There we go. Alright. The Q-tip. I have to start after I give it a sand, because the shoulders are good. You just start sculpting the chest. If we don't get a chest going, then this thing is just going to be stillborn and it's not going to move for ages. And it looks like I'm going to need some more putty in this little jar. But that's not a huge issue. So it's almost completely covered. There we go. And now for the midriff. And at some point, I'm going to have to prime and sand the panties as well. Might do that next time as we're sanding the midriff. And then I have to sculpt the upper part. So I've done the hips out, but the upper part doesn't match with the shirt. So there's like a strange, well, not a gap, but a leveling field. And that will be fixed next time. But it's got the rough shape I'm after. Then we have to put in, any sort of lines that we want, drill out a navel, all that sort of jazz. But we're going to have a little more luck sanding it down. If it's a bit more smooth than that with this putty, then we are just sanding raw milliput. I was pretty happy with the sculpting I did a few days ago. Did take a very long time, where this is a quick job. I wish I kind of did this a lot earlier, because then I could be progressing smoother, but you get busy, you get busy. Fuck. That's probably a good start. It's going to need a couple of rounds of sanding and further putting. We'll fill this up a bit more. This is definitely not too exciting. There's only dried bits that can be chucked back in, because it's just going to reconstitute back to putty. And that's a good thickness, so that doesn't need to be really thinned. You just close the lid. Get a good seal. You don't want it drying out on you. It's a waste of thinner. Yeah, this filming is getting closer and closer to being finished. So I'm guessing that is done. We visit that tomorrow. Been here for 30 minutes, so that's not too much of a bad deal. We could start work on our Haikuri or Haikuri or whatever the hell the pronunciation is. Leave this out because we might need to do some seam line filling with this stuff. It's good shit. We got to start on our Gunpowder Builders Australia Challenge 15. If you're looking for a good challenge to do, there's two going on at the moment. Gunpowder Builders Australia is doing a weathering challenge. Build a kit out of the box. You paint it, weather it. Might be able to do some texturing modifications to enhance weathering. No kit bashing, no heavy scratch building, no heavy battle damage gorging. Single model diorama. Prize pool and everything. Special prize of MIG ammo, weathering products and paints and all that sort of jazz. There's a lot of people entering, so that's quite exciting to watch or enjoy. Somewhere on my Twitch profile, it's on the main page or introduction page, there is a link to Gunpowder Builders Australia, so that's worth checking out. If you have a look at Gundam Club Australia, they're doing a Mecha Musume Mecha or Gundam Girl group build. This one finishes in April. It encompasses Australia, New Zealand, Oceanic. So if you are from Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, wherever, you are able to enter. Had some fruit trees and shit, and it's quite delicious. Supposedly that is meant to also have an impressive prize pool. For more information, go on Facebook and look up Gundam Club Australia or the Mecha Musume Modelling Society. That's not a bad group. Only reason why I say that is because I admit it. Now, I'm of late getting in the habit that I don't build things in order. Normally starts with the head, torso. I will probably start with the feet. So we got the legs and the foot. We'll start straight with the feet. And that way we got something to stand and show in our nifty work in progress pictures. So we're going to have to dig out our runners. Start cutting, start sanding, start doing all that jazz. So we'll do a quick prep of the tools. Don't know if I've talked about this before, but I got in this glass file, which is pretty sweet, especially for cleaning. You just soak it in thinner. So after I clean my airbrushes, I intend to chuck this in the solution and let it ultrasonic clean for a while and get the crap out of all the grooves and whatnot. So that's going to be all good and fine. We're going to need the C parts and the polycap parts. Not being a lot of runners, I don't think that is going to be too tricky. And we'll build shit in parallel. So 25, 24, 31. 25, 24, 31. You don't have to cut this quickly. I build things in parallel. So I build one leg here, instead of just repeating the same thing over and over again. You build one leg and then you build the other leg. It's just what makes sense to me. It's a little efficient, a little quicker. And I always cut out the polycaps after I've removed all the nubs and done all the cleanup and all that jazz. We'll eyeball the polycap so we know what to cut out immediately. PC7, 5, 6, 7. Big bulbous ones. I throw my nubs in the modelling box now because I used to just throw them on the floor, and I've just got this horrendous mess after many years of doing that. And just noticing on the part, excuse if my fingernails are dirty, there's a nasty seam line, or not a seam line, a joining line from the molds all the way around. So it's not so much the case of just sanding where the nubs are. We're going to have to sand all the way around, and that is just an absolute pain in the ass. So to do that quicker, we're going to use a higher grit sandpaper. Just obliterate it. And then we're going to need this. Obliterate it. And then work our way down to 2000 grit and just buff it nicely. I have a plum tree, and the plums are beautiful this time of year. Got my manky travel water. You can see it's disgusting. We'll start at 180. No need to go to 180. No need to just go to 80. 80 is probably a bit too rough. Give her the old sanding all the way around the clock trick. Now, I've talked about this in so many videos about sanding. I'm going to do a YouTube video about it eventually. I think I'll actually do it on this particular kit. The coarser the grit the sandpaper, the lighter your sand. The higher the grit, the harder you can go, unless you're sanding paint, then you probably want to do that lightly. And if there's a raised area, it's going to hit the raised areas in the corners. It's going to round off the corners, where if you go lightly, it's more likely it's just going to hit everything. And then once I see all the everything nicely scratched up, we can move our way down. And so when someone looks at it on very, very, very close inspection, they won't see this line. And even though we're weathering the hell out of it, the chances are, even if I left it, no one will see it. Or if we're going to texture the plastic, they're still not going to see it. That's not really the point. You need to get the most ideal finish, and if you get a beautiful clean kit, then you can focus on weathering where you want to weather and not weathering where you're hiding mistakes. And that works out to be quite lovely. So I'll probably do a quick introduction in case we've got anyone jumping in and jumping out. My name's Alan. I'm the guy behind the Mokanaman on YouTube and other social media outlets. I do a lot of building. The free subjects are Gunpla, 72nd armor, and resin anime figures, as well as the odd quirky subject. I modify and build out of the box, and all of my models are generally painted. Do a bit of competition, mostly tutorials to help other people, and I enjoy engaging modeling communities. So come for a ride. Any comments on any platform phased out as a question, I generally address. And yeah, it is what it is. So I'm going down to 260 grit, and I apply just an inch or a mil more pressure. And since we've removed the imperfection, 180 grit's there just to remove everything. It leaves the plastic all scarred and scratched up. Now what we're doing is we're just repairing the plastic, and we're going to sand the plastic down beyond the holes that was left behind from the 80 grit and all the scratching. And this is going to leave slightly smaller scratches, and we move our way down and even smaller scratches. And it's ideal to work with a whole range of sandpapers and not just one or two grits. And 2000 grit's just a magic grit. That just does a beautiful job in just buffing things up to a smooth consistency. Getting the original colour back in the plastic. And even though some of these are going to be hidden and whatnot, it's going to be a good fit. Fitting won't be a problem during assembly, painting, all that sort of stuff. We're working on an excellent slate. So generally this method's going to be a lot slower, but Jimbo, dude, best booze while going Gunpla. I just do regular old beer. During the winter, single malt whiskey. During summer, rum or gin or tonic. Beer is good, but generally you drink it too slow. I like to sip my booze very slowly and get a buzz. It relaxes you a bit for airbrushing or building. Beer, I find that I drink it, I get frustrated, I don't get a buzz, I drink too much, and then it goes a bit beyond a buzz. Beer is not normally my choice, but when I go beer, it's definitely Bavarian beer. Places, your German, Austrian beers, Belgian beers, very good. Some of the Asian beers are very clean and crisp from China, Vietnam, Japan. I'm very, very fond of the Vietnamese tiger beer. I call it tiger juice. Get really, really fucked up on that. It's good shit, especially by the jug. Also been recently getting into South American beers, Mexican beers and all that. Very, very light and crisp. But some of our supermarkets and whatnot are getting just some unknown, almost commie-looking label Brazilian or Argentinian beers or whatever, and none of them's really failed me. But fuck Bud or anything from the States. That's just nasty. That's not a beer. That aside, I haven't even looked at the comments for ages. I've just been talking shit. So we just keep moving down the grits, and then you can see the color of the plastic change to the point where it's smooth and it's the same color as the other surfaces you haven't sanded. And then once you put a top coat on, a gloss or a matte, it'll give it a uniform color. And even though there might be a slight sheen difference or what you think is a color difference, once it's top coated, you won't notice anymore. So if you're a snapper and you're doing what I'm doing, sanding at a really low grit to a high grit, don't worry about the color difference too much. As soon as you put just a single pass of gloss or matte or satin, it's all good. No problems whatsoever. And then you can see that, you spend like assembly for 3 parts. You can easily spend way over 10 to 15 minutes fucking hay fever. But Alan, it's not good to go on stream and make videos and sneeze and do all that shit. And it's like, well, fuck, I'm not doing anything now. I want to do a stream. I'm sneezing. I'll do both at the same time. Thank you very much. Eat beautiful plums off my fucking tree for free. Was shit for days. Man, that's good. I was like eating a chocolate or some shit. It's really, really, really sweet. I want to booze now, man. I'll be back. Getting booze. If anyone complains that I left the stream or abandoned it, it's Jimbo's fault. It's completely fucking Jimbo's fault. Bro, I'm curious how many kits are in your stash. 20, 50, 1,000. It's between 50 and 1,000. That's all I'll say for now. Alan left to take a fap. I'm guessing. Quick fap. If I was to fap, I'll do it on stream. You just won't see it. Just, like, can you see the... I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Most streams, most videos, it's hot weather right now. I don't wear pants. And sometimes I don't wear anything. I just start freeballing it. I'm not wearing pants right now. This is why I've got the apron. It's the cool thing about the apron. I could stand up. And this is crotch level. And from about this part below, there's no pants. I'm completely doing the apron trick. The dick is out. Simple as that. Lucky it's flaccid. The case to wrap it around your waist 3 times and stick it up your ass and it won't, pop out anyway. Fucking. Man, that's good. So, closer look. See, it's got this little white scarring and discoloration. And here you've got that Gundam grey look. It's got a slight sheen. When we put 2,000, it'll be a lot closer to this. There'll still be a bit of that white shit. When you top coat it, all gone. All good. And if you want it to do even better, you want it to be absolutely gone without top coating, you can get in the realm of higher grits, 4,000, 6,000 grit, followed by polishing and compound polishes. And that will make it nice, shiny, and pretty. So this is 2,000 grit, maximum pressure, really digging in, making little scratches so fine you can't see it, yet at the same time removing plastic. And it's just of a very, very, very nice finish. There you go. It's a bit wet because it's glossy, but it's the same colour. When it dries up, we can do that on my apron. You see that tiny bit of discoloration. Ignore the manky nails. This is my favourite cup at the moment. It's fucking awesome. I was low on gin, so I poured the rest of my gin. I was like, fuck. So I put a bit of rum in it. And a mixture of gin and rum is kind of good. I dig it in tonic water. It's really, really refreshing and it doesn't taste weird at all. Eating it with some plums, some fresh fruit. It's a fucking good mix. There we go. This is nicely done, nice, smooth, nice and clean. And doesn't have a seam line. The other piece is mechanical detail. It sub does the seam line because it's got crazy lines everywhere. Well, there might be a bit of a seam line, but we'll fix that. There is no, there's not much of mold line. There's one from this point to this point. That's not too bad. That's like a centimetre. Oh, fuck. Yeah. It's classiest bloody fucking modelling stream you'll come across. I guarantee it. So with anything, a nub's not too bad. You cut it, slice it down. Make sure you leave a bit of a half a mil, less than that. And then you can use your mid-tier sandpaper and just buff it off. And you work your way down. It's really quick. You're only moving such a tiny amount of material. Use your finger to feel, see if your nail can't hook on it. You know it's gone. And then we buff the fuck out of it with 2000. I seriously should not be starting a new kit. I've just got way too many kits on the go. It's fucking insane. Just sitting next to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kits. And that's only what I'm choosing to work on right now. There's like another box with about another 10 untouched kits. Well, not untouched, like starter kits, but they're like shelf queens. I haven't touched them in a very, very long time. Alright, brother. It's fucking 1:30 a.m. Got to go take a fap and then go to bed. Good night. Night, mate. There's nothing more satisfying than a fap and a sleep straight away. It's just the way to go to sleep unless you're that exhausted. Absolutely understand. Fap with me and mine, brother. It's the way to do it. Have a good one, Jimbo. Don't fap to anything too crazy. That's actually a good, poll someone should put up somewhere on old Gunpla forums or something. What do you fap to the most? Is it like Indian, Brazilian lesbian porn? Is it that crazy animated hentai porn? Is it just roaming from Pornhub to Pornhub video? You're a bit more classy. Do you do brazzers? All that sort of stuff. Lol, see ya. Hey, you stuck around for that long. Have a good tug, mate. So, okay, this is the bit where we also have the flash mark from the mold. And even though most likely this is a part that's not visible, I don't know that yet. I could make a judge. If I was doing a commission job, I probably wouldn't bother. Do a personal job, I'd get rid of it. Commission job, you just have to be a bit quicker and make decisions and sacrifices. But at least I know when I make a kit, I put a kit on display, like tiny shit like this is eliminated. And it's all It's all getting there. So we had Jimbo visit. We probably got a decent following or viewer base. Yeah, it's not too bad. 13 followers. Fuck me, that's not too bad at all. That's the number's definitely growing a bit. People must love this crazy shit. Oh, fuck yeah. Man, that's strong. And I've got my buzz on. Fucking A. Can't complain at all. So you can tell that with no flash mark, this is just so much quicker to clean. Once I've got that top nub mark removed. I thought that was a nub mark, that was just a bit of shit. And we're all good. So this can be very tedious, and normally when I do this sort of shit, I watch YouTube videos, stuff that's not too much investment. I know some people try to watch anime and fail because they have to read the subtitles because they can't understand the moon runes or the moon language. Some people listen to anime music. You know, it's very preachy, high tempo, don't understand what the fuck they're singing about. It's all about YouTube for me, political commentary, satire, reviews, theories, crazy shit. I'm not watching anything particular at the moment, so like the latest season of Family Guy pirated, and one of the episodes I was watching, it sort of gave me a weird fault, and they pulled the whole channel when I was mid-video. That sucked. There's a bit of flash line left that I didn't see, but under a different light it appeared. Now she's gone. Polish her up. I've been watching a lot of The Drunken Peasants. I'm about 10 episodes behind. Each episode 2.5 episodes. So got a bit of catching up to do, but just been slowly enjoying that. Yeah, just nothing else. The odd Star Wars theory after Rogue One. They've got some pretty crazy shit. Then they jump into like balls deep in that Legends crap and all that. Be like, you know, video. Did Darth Vader burn his dick off in Mustafar during the fucking prequels or some shit? Watch to find out. And in canon, they don't address his dick. Fucked if I know. Doing this all over again. I wish it was a little more exciting to watch me model. But you find that the more you model, the more tedious it is to watch because you're doing slow, careful shit. And it's exciting the first time you probably watch someone. And when you watch them over and over again, it might get a bit boring. Might not. I've got no fucking idea. I'm not seeing any flash marks, so that's pretty awesome. And I can assemble this piece, but I'll clean up the other three too. So shit's really slow because I prepare, modify, cut up, mess around with each piece for just absolute ages. And then she just starts coming together really quick. Notice my dog's out the window. He's just chilling out, listening to my voice. That's kind of cool. I'm going to do a bit of a test fit. So I'm going to need to... Gundam kits are under a lot of tension and they easily get fucked up. I missed the nub. So I loosen the snap joints. And that way, when it glues together, it's under no tension whatsoever. And it's literally only being held by glue. Well, at least in theory. And so when I'm using weathering products and enamel inks and all that, there should be less likely chance of breakage and all that. Dog's having a dig, just wondering what he buried there. Shouldn't be digging in the fucking yard. He's doing it right in front of me. It's a Siberian Husky. Big, hairy bastard. It's hot weather. He shouldn't be doing nothing. He's too hairy for that shit. There we go. Gonna widen the holes on this shit. Simply stick the knife in the hole, twirl around, widen it up as a funnel. So there's a tiny amount of tension at the very bottom, but it's pretty much extremely loose. Sasha! Sasha! The fuck you doing? Stop that. Don't pretend you're shitting in the hole. Stupid fucking dog. I love him though. All aware of himself is pretend there's no hole. Oh, the cunt's gone back to digging. Nah, he's just sitting in it now. He's in the hole now. Fuck me. Fuck this dog. I'll turn the camera around and show him what he looks like, but it's like attached a bit of bamboo, and then I'll have to refocus it. Don't want to do that. So you guys get to just take it by fact that I'm interacting with a husky that you've never seen before. Really seriously sitting in the hole. Oh well. It's nor here nor there. Make sure we get the right orientation going. Yeah, seems to be about right. Oh fuck, that looks alright. There is one seam line. While we're at, we'll fucking glue it. Who gives a shit? So that means I can put some glue down. Polycaps. Polycaps, I always rely on polycaps. You always got to have a sharp knife. You just cut straight through, no nub, nothing, nice and close. It's not really appropriate to use nippers on this material. It's far too soft. Can't really pinch it. It just digs in. Same with your premium nippers. It's just wasting and wearing out your material for nothing. So that's in there good. This is an Australian $2 coin. And these are my choices of cement. I like to use two types of cement. Just extra thin and extra thin quick type. The quick type just dries immediately. I use it as an accelerant and it just dries super fucking quick. And yeah, it's just a wonderful cement. The extra quick setting, extra thin. Instead of waiting for ages to deal with seams or sanding seams or whatever, it's just even less than a third of the time. Though it dries way too quick, and then you're putting two dry surfaces on top of each other and it just doesn't react nicely. And this way, because you're relying off cement, when you're putting solvents and whatnot across it, it's not going to have any effect on it whatsoever. Nice and quick. Sandwich that shit. Bit of a spill. It's not a big deal. Just put some pressure on it. Let it dry for 20-30 seconds. Gonna run a little super glue on it. A little bit of putty. There's no complaints. It's going to be so strong it will not re-split under any circumstances. Oh, fuck. Put the polycap in the wrong way because I'm a fucking idiot. And I'm just going to put a bit of extra cement in the seam. To remelt it. And the brush is so thin it just, slots in there. It's split. Should dry beautifully. Not a problem. We'll pretend that mistake never occurred. We will never speak of it again. Except it was the wrong orientation for the second fucking time. Get in there, you cunt. Fuck! Yeah, I fucked it up completely. I'm gonna have to re-glue it from scratch. Luckily, I didn't get wet cement stuck anywhere. And this fucking polycap doesn't want to fit. There we go. I haven't scarred the plastic. Thank God I'm neat as hell. Oh, we're going to have to do that all over again. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. It's not a big deal. At least the plastic's pretty soft. It's got to prove you have to be really freaking careful. And if this was not loosened, and if it had tension and glue, it'd make a complete fucking dog's dinner if you were to try to fix it. Wasn't really focusing too much, which is not good. The amount of model kits under my fucking belt, it's an absolute disgrace. But it is what it is. I'll wear it. Gonna not shame or whatever. And it's glad that I noticed the mistake before we went into seam line filling and all that sort of shit. And no, it was not the gin tonic and rum. Talking about that. Fucking tasty. So yeah, last night when I was sleeping or trying to dozing off, I was thinking, do I want to do this challenge? Do I not want to do this challenge? And I thought, fuck it, I'll pull this kit out and I'll do it. So I bought this kit really excited about Iron Blood Orphans and whatnot. And then so many cooler designs came out and I sort of fell out of favour with this design. It wasn't as cool as I thought it originally was a while ago. And I'm thinking like, well, since I don't think it's as cool, I could do something experimental with it. Toothpick. It's going to spread some super glue along the seam. This way it fills the little channel with something nice and hard. And it gives it some strength to hold it together. And afterwards, I'll chuck some putty on it. That should work well. So there you go. One part done in probably what would have been half an hour. And then we're going to do it all over again. Part number 2. Or half number 2. You can see that I'm insanely a slow modeler. And to the reason why I probably don't have such a high output as some snappers and whatnot. People that, buy a kit, build it, and review it, and the spam of, up in hours. That would be cool if that was the case, but I'm very happy with the content that's put out there. Now the sandpaper, the sandpaper's worn out too much where you get it wet so often it becomes sort of as floppy as fabric or like a cotton towel or something. Then it's time to replace it. It's the same go about sanding it using different sandpapers. The reason why you can see that I put the numbers of it because when it starts getting wet and worn and whatnot, they almost feel the same. You don't know what's in what order. So I started labeling it with just a Sharpie. And it just makes life so much easier. You save so much time. And it's just so much more organized. Works out really, really sweet. There we go. We'll move down to our next start. We've removed the fault. Now we're just repairing the damage as mentioned previously. Since I'm done with this, it's airbrushing time. Now later on tonight I might do some more work to this. Might even do a second streaming. Might stream tomorrow. Thinking I may do, no, I can't stream tomorrow because I'm making a video, Q&A video. So no stream tomorrow. Streaming today. So that means we probably won't leave for another stream till next week. Though definitely, because I don't know why Twitch deletes videos and all that. Nothing's permanent on here like on YouTube. I'll chuck this stream onto the PhD Manchild. And if people sit down and enjoy that, they do that. No sweat off my balls. Nothing to be too upset or pretentious about. It's all good. And since we're doing everything all over again, just because you're getting a bit bored or fatigued from it, and this is why working on multiple projects and multiple stages works so well, because fatigue can hit in. You just change to something else, a scratch build project, a painting project, all that jazz. There you go. And it's just coming out really, really neatly and nicely. And almost come out as a clean model. So what I want to practice with this one is I want to be a lot more subtle than I normally am with my weathering. Just, tiny streaks and a little bit of spot rust and not as heavily, insanely weathered as I usually do, like it's been abandoned for like 100,000 years. Something that's heavily used, still usable, or maybe something that's been rusting in the field and it could potentially be salvageable. And finally, the 2000 grit. And the other pieces won't be so hard to do. And it's been an hour and a half. I'll still keep going. No harm done. Quarter given, an inch taken, all that sort of shit. Lovely. That's a nicely clean part. Next troublesome part. Removing nubs. I'll probably re-quote Kawaguchi again. Each kit has approximately 100 parts or more. Each part has approximately 3 nubs. You will remove up to 300 nubs a model. You times how many models you do that year. Then you times it by 300, and then by how many models you think you're going to do in your lifetime. That's a lot of nubs. It's crazy tedious. Dog came out of his own hole. Sitting there all guard doggish and whatnot near his door. So yeah, I've got some grandiose plans with it. I think it will be out of the box color scheme. Not 100% sure where. Though I definitely want to build a diorama for it. That is definitely the case. Diorama models have just received a little bit more well in competitions and challenges and all that. But I'll take it really, really slow with this. It's no rush. So I think I missed a couple of Gunpowder Builders Australia challenges. It's good to get back into the fold. Go to 2000. And there we go, another part done. Let's come out really, really well. I'm really happy with this new sanding regime that is just sort of just fallen together well for me. Really enjoying these Iron-Blooded Orphan kits. The designs just get more and more and more interesting. I've only built one, bought half a dozen. I want to get some of them done this year. They're just so cool. Now, at the same time, I want to get them done justice. Some of the Barbatos I did was just, it really came out right. It was good fun. And I think they did very well in the challenge that was entered in, which was about a year from now. And yeah, so a year from now, it's another Iron-Blooded Orphans kit. So, yeah, what do you know? What do you know? Nice, beautifully polished. Third bit, and we can glue it. And this time we're going to glue it right. I'm going to fuck around there like last time. I think every day, if I do a step on this, I'll I'll come out alright. Oh, fuck. This time, polycap in correctly. Boom. Easy. Then we widen the holes so there's no tension. A lot of these need to really go into videos. I'm going to start a tutorial series. Brand spanking new one, the old one's all fucked. And as soon as Fumina is done, that's when the tutorials will start. So it'll be sometime early this year. If Fumina doesn't get done, I'll just finish a heap of other projects and just start it. Start small. We'll start on a tank. We'll do a Gundam. There's going to be just a shit ton of bite-sized 2-3 minute videos. Even if they have to be two-parter, it doesn't matter. It's just very easy for people to go on and go, how do I do this? How do I do that? And just learn immediately like that. Just nice and simple. Just the raw information. No lengthy explanations or demonstrations. Nothing like my polishing videos or honing your airbrush skills videos. These are for people outside the normal viewer base. And just do a start to finish series of just everything that I do, my established style. Because I didn't really have like a super established style many years ago when I started it. I just built kits how I came across them, and each one I did it in a different way. Now I've sort of definitely felt comfortable in something that definitely works well for me. Just, you know, It is what it is. Okay, fucking Gluski. So even though it's a small brush and you're getting very little glue at a time, you're not overspilling or putting it in the wrong areas. Getting it exactly where you intended. Sometimes it can get absorbed into the plastics, it's just too little. Or what you think is evaporating where really it's just seeping into the plastic. You may need to put it on 2 to 3 times so it's wet enough that you've got something to work with. But not too wet that it's going to ooze everywhere when you sandwich them. Because next step is quick type. And then it's going to quickly turn into a putty state. You need to sandwich it nice and quick. You got to do all your test fitting and bullshitting out of the way beforehand. Make sure your hands are all free of glue. Pick it up, sandwich, and watch the extra shit ooze out. Which it isn't too much. Not too bad. That's beautifully put together. I'm going to super glue the same. Wait for a couple of minutes. Add some putty. You can see that just going in tiny amounts and it's being spread out with the toothpick. So that means the excess super glue, which using super glue around articulated joints is too dangerous. You put too much super glue in, it's going to seep into the joints, it's going to harden. Your kit is stuck in one position. There we go. Dab a little cotton swab on it. Cotton reacts to super glue in a negative fashion and it dries tons quicker. We're going to apply some of this putty on it. Talked about the putty earlier, and it just works really well. Make sure you wet sand it. But I wet sand everything. There we go. That's just one step done, and that took us about over an hour. So see, we'll just keep going. Do a nice clean 2-hour finish. Number 3, you got some nice piston work, so it's going to be some metals and streaking and all that sort of stuff. Pistons seem to be very favourable in the iron-blooded orphan stuff. C22, which is this lovely part here. Let's see where this is going. Glorious flash lines. I'll have a quick look at the... More of an internal skeleton, so we may ignore these flash lines. Nah, fuck it, we'll sand it because there's detail, so there's going to be detail there for some reason. Or it's going to be completely hidden, I've got no fucking idea. This bit will be nice and quick. Just be very careful when you're sanding cylinders and pipes and all that sort of stuff. There's a little sanding and there's a little pressure as possible because you will flatten them and then they will not be a true circle all the way around. Not so bad for Gundams because this is not a focal point, but things for like, you know, your noses on your aircraft, your bombs, your barrels on your tanks and all that. Way too much pressure and on the same spot without moving around. It's going to be flat at the top and it can be noticeable by rivet counters or so-called armchair historians and all that crap. It's just something to be aware of. What you do with that information's up to you. Polish it up. This piece popped out quickly, so that's good. Get a nice buzz from my drink. Man, spirits rule. Don't drink and model. Okay, how does this go? Ball joint in here. Alright, that works. That's kind of cool. I like that. Putty's drying. Be sanded another day. I also cleaned the studio space yesterday and today, so I haven't done a lot of modeling, but like the area is so freaking clean. I could spread out and do what I need to do and whatnot and put it all away. Sit down, do a tiny bit of work, move on. Instead of looking at it and go, oh, it's all fucked, not going to bother today. Attempting a clean workspace is important. Yeah, I definitely need to do some more streaming. Sort of been too lazy. Still think this streaming business can go somewhere. It can be quite interesting. Sort of been floundering, but the growth's not too bad. If I was started with nothing, I'd say I'm very happy with it. For a bit of an audience, yeah, it's mediocre, but can't complain at all. Still, it's quite enjoyable. We just need to keep working at doing it once a week. Every now and then more often for special events. I reckon by Gunpla Builders World Cup, just having like, really long ass streams where I'm sitting there and just smashing out massive amounts of kits and stuff. That could be interesting. Alright, so that's 2 parts done. I think I'll get rid of the nubs first, and then I'll sort out the flash marks. That way I won't be too overwhelmed with the part. Cool. That worked beautifully well. Peg here of some description. Then it gets to the feet after that. We've got like a standing skeleton. Suppose with this, I could have like some armor plates missing and shit. That could be kind of cool. I'll consider that when I'm playing around with the build and whatnot. Have some holes and whatnot in the armor, exposing the inner frame. So this is another good thing that I'm getting rid of all the nub marks and the flash lines and all that sort of shit. Oh, and all the metal bits, the inner frame stuff, which this is mostly inner frame. I go wild with my classic style of just using multiple different exhaust and rust paints and all that sort of stuff. Okay, I just need to go slightly higher grip with this piece. Because I was getting there where nowhere quickly with the other part. There we go. And we can go back here. And since we've been doing a lot of metallics and shit, gotta have things nice and clean. And we weather the metallics. Yep. Nice and fun. Tedious as fuck. But it's also clean as fuck. There we go. There's a bit of, that bit's not too much important. We'll just give it a quick scruff up. $2,000. This flat area here, which is done. Oh, fuck. There we go. Fucking on. Make sure we're getting it in the right direction. Take him a bit forward. To there we go. We do all that all over a fucking again. This kid's really nasty with flash marks. Yeah, and a bit hungry too. Gonna have to eat something. I guess I could do that and when the stream's done. That's not too much of a hassle, so yeah, it's alright. Okay. Nub. AVG warning. Restart your computer or blah blah blah. Something virus, blah blah blah. Control, blah blah blah. Fuck off. And raise details with, as we've got here, raise details with flash marks is also very, very difficult to get around. So just get rid of it as soon as you can without flattening it or rounding off the corners. And then polishing it just makes it so much easier. Um, 2000. Almost done. This bit is almost done. Do the feet. Have it standing. Take a photo. Beautiful. That newspaper's mounted. Smooth, beautifully smooth. And as you repeat, you get faster and you get more efficient. It just gets better and better once you get into your flow of, your layout of sandpapers or tools or your preferences or whatever. Oh, Tommy 23 is now hosting you for up to 14 viewers. True Gunpla is now hosting you too. Oh wow! Thank you very much, guys. That's absolutely crazy. So I suppose I need to up the ante and do a bit of chat. True Gunpla and everyone else. GBA raid. Oh Jesus! How you guys going? It's all good. Thank you very much for jumping in. It just happens to be the GBA build that I'm working on and playing with today. I've cracked this kit a few hours ago. Not a few hours ago, like an hour and a half ago. And we'll be weathering the shit out of it for Mr. Scott's challenge. And I've been sitting here polishing flash marks, which is the little extruded bit of plastic you get when two pieces are slapped together and injected in the mold. You get that ugly ass line. And yeah, just been polishing them out, and it's quite a crazy chore. So yeah, you guys coming in to entertain me is really, really, really good. If you've got any like the Gunpla Builders Association. Is the Gunpla Builders Association a different group to Gunpla Builders Australia? Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'm not too sure if heard of I've heard of that before. I am aware of. I could be aware of them. I don't know. Nonetheless, yeah, thanks for coming aboard. That's definitely bumped up the viewership quite high. If anyone's got any questions or demonstrations or anything, this has always been a Q&A more so stream than anything else, even though shenanigans do go down. And the topic that I'm mostly focusing on right now is the assembly of this particular Gundam kit. Make sure I got the orientation correct. Snap her all together, and it's all crazy good. We've been promoting Gunpla on Twitch, making the world a better place through Gunpla. Ah, sweet. If you guys got a Facebook group or some sort of place you get together and do your stuff, since I've sort of been doing Gunpla on Twitch of late, I'm happy to join you guys in doing the auto hosting and all that sort of fun. So if there's anything I can do from my vantage point, I'm very, very happy to help out, even though I'm very, very new to this platform and have not quite liking your educational approach. Thank you very much. It's pretty much an extension of what I do on YouTube. It just gives me a chance to drag it out a bit more and go in more finer detail. And if there's a small handful of people in the chat, I'm able to go one-on-one or one on a few and answer questions in more intimate detail, solve some problems. And as I'm building, it's just more of an idea of how my line or style goes in airbrushing and building for competitions and commission type stuff. You guys should watch Mokanaman's YouTube videos. Yeah, thank you very much for the promotion. I've got the link somewhere on my Twitch profile. I'm still quite new. Navigating it all is a bit troublesome, but I do focus a lot on reviews and tutorials on different methods in building and all that. So when I do a review kit, it goes a bit out of snapping it together and more so the problems you undercome or overgo with each scale and style to get it done. But GBA, GBA was a bit confusing because GBA is also the hashtag or title the Gunpla Builders Australia goes by. So yeah, you guys definitely caught me out of that. I'm very sorry that I've got the two groups confused, but yeah, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Got to check it out now. Not a problem. I definitely hope you enjoy it. Generally being interactive when questions are asked, I'm very happy to answer it and give shout outs and do all sorts of things. I've also got a Q&A session happening on Friday. It's probably the second latest video. The channel's not all Gunpla, however. There is some resin anime figures and tanks. But Gunpla is probably about 30 to 40% of the focus. And the same with this channel. Occasionally, I don't exactly do Gunpla. I might do another style of kit. But a lot of the methods and techniques still go towards Gunpla and improving, building, or picking up different methods or aspects of that, especially resin. Anyone that wants to get into resin, your beer club and your garage kits, a lot of that is definitely covered, and you can get the information and whatnot and giving that a go. So even though I'm talking, I'm still trying to focus on the instructions at the same time. And Twitch really tires you. It's absolutely insane. I mean, you look at the instructions, you look at the chat, you're looking at what you're doing, and you find that you slow down a bit, but you're still having a bit of fun. And at the same time, trying to keep an eye on your work, but entertain. And it's a challenge that, it's not too bad trying to come up to. Mind if I post a link to the Discord so you can share your channel in it? Go for it. Everything's up for sharing. Feel free to use the chat or any resource I have to help you out. I'm always into exploring communities and helping communities out, especially if they have a very friendly nature. But yeah, any resource I have, if you want to use my groups, my chat, anything I've got, I'm happy to do that. And once I've figured out where your group is and how auto hosting and whatnot works, yeah, joining in on your raids and whatnot definitely does sound like a lot of fun. I don't spend a lot of time online, unfortunately, but where I can help out other Twitch modelers, that could work out. I'll click on your link there, and I'll chuck that in somewhere. So we'll have a look at that. Discord. I run a revoltingly bad computer rig. So things are very, very slow. Say goodbye to TeamSpeak, Mumble, Skype. I'll have a look at that later. That's confusing me a bit, but we'll sort that out. Whatever that is, I'll definitely have check out. Part 2, C2. Weather around here has also been insanely hot. I've got the aircon and fan going, but yeah, the humidity and heat is a bit fickle, but not two problems. No worries. Thank you very much for yeah, providing it. It's all good. Look at the time. An hour and 50 in. There's a question. A lot of you guys do stream and have your own channels and whatnot, and I'll try to find time to go on your profiles and follow you guys and all that. How long do you generally can build and stream at the same time as talk? Are you able to be one of these guys that are trying to go professional and stream 6-8 hours in one sitting session and build? Or are you like me, you get a bit tired out, you attempt it for 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, you're building, and then you just feel absolutely exhausted and you just want to, bomb out? I'm very curious about that because I just never considered how tiring the whole thing can be, even though I've been modeling and making content for so long. That's a very, very interesting question. If anyone wants to throw that up into the chat, that would fascinate me in my research and trying to expand all this sort of stuff. cutting all this stuff out. I stream 5 hours, 3 times a day. Bring drinks, snacks. 5 hours. Wow. Depending, some speed through kits, other pace them out. That's I'm gonna have to tune in and some of these streams you guys do and see what or how you do pace yourself out, how often you talk or get into the build or the process or whatnot. That would be very interesting. GBA raid, am I late? No, you're never late, mate. 3 times a week. 3 times a week. That's a little better than 3 times a day. I was thinking, it's crazy. A good friend of mine that I used to, because I do live workshops at a couple of anime cons and events and whatnot. And I've come across a friend of mine, and he's actually become a full-time professional Twitch streamer, mostly in video games. And he goes about 6 to 10 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, and he gets enough revenue and all that it covers for his lifestyle, as well as travel and sponsorship and all sorts of stuff. And just asking and answering some questions, he helped set this rig up for me, so I was able to give this a go. I've got a couple of other mates that are attempting to go Twitch professional, and they've all given me a lot of assistance. So instead of trying to find this all out by myself, I was very grateful to get help by people outside the Gunpowder community. I already said you were on your way, Silver, so you were fine. They're in talking. So that's all good and fine. Got these really, really, really tiny bits, and there's a flash mark all the way around. I jump in and out of conversation and talking once the stream is over, as even though they're very, very short streams, and I try to do it once a week. I've had a bit of a Christmas holiday. I eventually upload it onto YouTube and leave it out there for people to view. For some reason, I don't know if I have it correctly verified or how Twitch works, though after a while they delete videos. So the videos are backed up on another channel called the PhD Manchild, not to clutter up the Mokanaman. And sometimes, depending on the group of friends or the people I know that jumps onto the chat, it can be a bit fun and rowdy and crass, and not as informative, more so of the entertainment variety. So I keep it all separate, but definitely I keep record of all of these and make them public elsewhere. Oh, damn, I watched your YouTube videos. I recognize the apron. Yeah, it's a bit disgusting and horrible. I know that sexy apron anywhere. I want it. You can still buy them on eBay. To me, it keeps pumping them out. I remember in one of my very, very early videos, I pretentiously put the apron on and talked in a vloggy video, and it was all clean and prim and pristine. And I started when I was a bit younger, because I've been doing the whole YouTube thing for about 6 years and whatnot. I was sort of trying to mimic Mr. Kawaguchi from Japan, Bandai's flagship main guy that does tutorials and YouTube stuff. So I was copying him by wearing the apron, as well as he wears an apron. And then I started only wearing the apron when I spill paint or do dirty work or dust work. So it's only when I'm modeling I put it on. And I put a nice t-shirt on when I'm talking. And many years later, I started meeting Mr. Kawaguchi at cons and whatnot, and he goes to the Gunpowder Builders World Cup, and I've become friends with him. And he doesn't wear the apron; he only does it on video when he goes to events and whatnot. He models in a full suit, and he doesn't get dirty whatsoever. Yet he's so quick, and it's sort of like, even though this is 6 years later, I still idolize the guy and want to sort of somewhat mimic him in my own style, but I'm far too messy to do that. So I'm sticking to the older Kawaguchi style of still wearing the apron, even though it's quite filthy, because seeing videos and him in person modeling and lining and airbrushing while wearing a full suit, that's crazy. A helpful hero, you're famous. I wouldn't say that I'm famous. I've got a little bit of a following, but that's been about 10 plus years building that up. Started off with a website blog. I actually had a completely different name 10 years ago. Became the Mokanaman about 7, 8 years, a couple of years before YouTube, on something called the Bakuk forums, and Bakuk was what the Gunpla Builders World Cup used to be. The Gunpla Builders World Cup in Japan, one of my life goals. I'm working towards it. I want to be Australian champion one time and attend it. I may reach it one year, I may not, but it's definitely a dream. I have visited Japan a few times, and I've gone to the Gundam Front in Diver City, where they have the Gunpla Builders World Cup entries on display for something like 11 months of the year. If you do visit Japan, and this is located where the giant Gundam is, it's very, very worthwhile looking at the models in person, and it answers a lot of questions why which one won and which one didn't win and all that. You can see which ones are finely detailed, which ones may have a tiny bit of mistakes, why they rank high, low, whatnot, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a very worthwhile goal. And it's good to have goals in modeling so you can work up to them, especially short-term goals and long-term goals. Long-term goal can be working your way up to compete on the Japan level of the Gunpla Builders World Cup, where a lower goal could be you enter in your local Gunpla Builders World Cup and get a reasonable result, or just your country getting a Gunpla Builders World Cup period, because not all the countries have them. It's something like 11 nations or whatnot, mostly oceanic. Just the United States, Canada combined, and Italy for like all of Europe. There still needs to expand in a few more areas. I think there should be a heat in South America. There's a very big Gunpla community in South America. More sections of Europe, the UK, and somewhere around the Middle East, the Balkans. There is definitely a big anime modeling community around there, and they hold their own cons and competitions and stuff, and it wouldn't hurt for them to have it. But I reckon, and if I was to bet money on it, the very next Gunpla Builders World Cup will be the UK. I'm starting to see from their communities that they're getting what is required by Bandai to have in the community for them to host the Gunpla Builders World Cup. And it's also the distribution network of kits, the brick and mortar stores that receive it from a distributor, how many models they're selling, if they're building up a local community. And once they tick a couple of boxes, they get an event. And the UK is very close to doing that. And all of these start off with grassroots movements by having a small hobby club, a few hobby shops selling Gunpla, and it just slowly expands that way. And what you guys are doing, jumping on Twitch, a social media streaming platform, building your own community, that's definitely the right way to go around it. So you guys seem very, very friendly, and it's working out quite well. Gunpla Builders World Cup in Japan is one of my life goals. Again, it's an excellent goal to go to. I have attended it just to have a look at the finished models. I have a video somewhere about it and my thoughts. It's really inspiring. It's seeing the models in person, opposed to just seeing pictures of them. A completely different experience, and you could just see things and eyeball things and just get an understanding of where you need to apply that to your own work and just have more of an idea. North America has 6 Gunpla Builders World Cup events, each individual heats, one online, the rest at conventions. The online one is very, very old. I used to be a member of that community when there was only very few forums and Gunpla communities out there, and it was a big magnet for a lot of Western-speaking people to jump on, and a lot of the people, being from Australia, a lot of people from the Australian community actually met on that forum, and we grew to what we know today. But the North American Gunpla Builders World Cup 6 events are very cool, very worthwhile looking into. A few of my good friends have placed at many of the different levels, and very happy and proud of them. Just keep working on them, and just see how far you can expand yourself. having a talk to Mr. Kawaguchi in person, if you have some questions, just roughly from what I know and questioned about how I can work at my journey at placing higher and higher in the competition, I can part off with as much knowledge as you guys are after, what sort of models they're looking for, if they prefer clean, dirty, references, styling, what sort of modifications, what sort of theming. And there's some things that they judge and look at that you don't even think of unless you ask. And theming, as well as the story that the model tells and the diorama and all that wraps together, is very, very important to Mr. Kawaguchi and some of those judges. They actually prefer that you sort of try your very best to stay within the Gundam universe and inch out a bit in your own imagination and world and not something that's completely outside and different. And they're also very, very strict about copyright. So, you could get Nobel Gundam and make your rendition of a Sailor Moon Gundam or something, or, you do a crossover of different fandoms and stuff. That gets you pretty much immediately disqualified. And it's not as nasty as it sounds. It's sort of, you don't earn any points, you don't get a chance to place no matter how good your model is. My apologies, that's just my cat. But they don't do anything nasty. They just don't allocate points towards it. It still remains on display and all that. But it can be more of a controversial topic rather than... what's wrong? This is my cat, Ashley. And she sometimes helps out. She sometimes is a bit of a hassle. She probably woke up and realized no one was in the house. So she just probably wants a cuddle or a feed or something. She's very, very vocal. She likes to complain a lot. I got a Twitch going. Got some modeling to do. Can't play with the cat too long. So cats jumping on feeds and videos. That's a thing that happens. My old cat used to jump in front of camera and get involved, but she was very quiet and elegant about it. This one is very clumsy and noisy. Though since she's confirmed that someone's at home and she's not alone and she's not upset, I suppose she's quite happy. She sleeps during the day. She's more of a night cat. So we'll go back to sanding and continuing modeling. And getting rid of these nubs. So what's going on, and as you guys jumped in, I've talked about it for my regulars about 2 hours ago. When I sand my nubs and whatnot, and this is probably just as appropriate for people that snap as well as people that paint, I use a variety of sandpaper, and I buy it from an automotive shop. They're high quality, they can be dipped in water. I cut small squares out and I label them. So I always remember what they are. Once they get a bit worn, they all start to feel the same. And if I'm removing putty or whatnot, I go to really, really low grits, 80 to 120, and I use it lightly to rasp and wear down the putty and the seam down to the bare plastic. And once I'm there, I start repairing and buffing and polishing it up all the way up to 2000 grit. Seam lines can be filled for snapping by using melted glue and putting it over the seam, or putting way too much cement and allowing it to ooze out. And that takes a long time to dry, but that works very, very well with a bit of practice. If you're painting and whatnot, you're not too worried about what colour the kit is, and with micro-filling primers, your Tamirs and rattle cans and all that, you sand up to 2000 grit. And when you start spraying that down, it's beautifully baby smooth. If you're doing a smooth scheme that's going to be glossy, high showroom finish car, if you're doing that to a Suzabi or a Camper or something, or if you're going something all weathered and buffed up and all that, you can always go back to a higher grit and just scuff up the kit and not make it as shiny or glossy as possible. So that works. Doesn't matter what style of modeling you do. Having a sanding plan works. I've only started doing this very recently, less than a year, when I was doing resin work and needing to remove large chunks. And resin being a soft material, it's quite easy to gorge out holes with a high grit sandpaper. I just did low grit. I'll just do very little amounts of light sanding with 80, 120, and then as I go down the grits, I go higher and higher. My family's just come home, so I'm going to have to prepare food. Thank you very much for joining me, the Gunpla Builders Association. I will have a closer look and interact more with you guys in the future. This is the end of my stream. Check out things on Facebook and the channel and whatnot. I'll have a look at your individual channels and follow you and find out where you're going, even though if I have a little trouble or struggle to figure out what your group platform is. I do want to help out wherever I can. I think you guys are definitely on a good thing, and it's very beneficial. And when I'm aware of other Gunpla people jumping on Twitch, I can send them in your direction. So thank you very much for having me and rating. You guys are welcome anytime, and I'll catch you guys later.